All right, wide receivers, you're higher on three guys. You like Tyler Lockett against the Rams, 5 spots above the experts as your wide receiver 15. You also like George Pickens. We talked about him earlier. You also like Brandon Aiyuk, who's come up in a couple of these super chat questions. We've used him in some hypotheticals. Give me your quick breakdown on Lockett, Aiyuk, and Pickens.
Yeah, they're all similar players, so it's good you lumped them in there in terms of they can just blow the fantasy matchup up on any given play. I really like Aiyuk. I just continue to want to emphasize I love this game. And Miami's been a bottom 10 team against receivers all year, and especially if Debo's ruled out. That's only happened once so far this year, and we saw Aiyuk finish as a top 10 receiver with over 17 fantasy points in that game. And anyways, he's been really solid, 24, 12, 17, 9, 15, and 9. Not below 9 in any of his last 6 games. Just very, very solid floor for Aiyuk, which was not always there. Plus, you have that 20-plus point ceiling. And a matchup, they're going to need points. I love him. Lockett has been insanely consistent this year. It's wild that he has just not missed a single beat with Geno Smith here. 10-plus half PPR points in all but 2 games. Rock solid consistency. And he hasn't had that true blow-up in a little while. I think the Rams, bottom 10 in terms of points allowed for wide receivers. They're a great matchup for wide receivers. I just have a feeling that Lockett's getting deep here, having a nice one. And as mentioned, George Pickens, the third best matchup for wide receivers against Atlanta, just as juicy as it comes. And people, oh no, AJ Terrell's there. He's looked like crap since he's returned from his injury. So I'm not worried whether he shadows him, Deontay Johnson. It doesn't matter for me. Yes, we had that 0-point dud against Philly. You take that one out, though. He's at 15, 13, 16, and 9 across his last 4 weeks. He's the preferred target right now for Kenny Pickett. I love George Pickens. Just such a good player. Every time you see him, the guy makes a freaking play. I love him.
Devonta Smith is a guy you are lower on. Going against Tennessee, you got him as your wide receiver 31. The experts like him all the way up at 23. I got to say 23 seems high to me. So
yeah, it might be better.
I hear you on that.
Meet in the middle here. But here's the deal. He hasn't finished above a top 24 wide receiver across his last 5 games. 24, 29, and then 59, 54, and 59 finishes. So the floor is pretty damn low, and the ceiling just hasn't even been there either. Yes, number 2 matchup for wide receivers. A great spot against Tennessee, but they're more susceptible to the deep ball, to the big play. That's where they're getting killed. That's where I think A.J. Brown comes in and just goes absolutely ballistic, whereas Smith will have some cleaning up the scraps there, but I just don't see him finishing above a top 25 wide receiver, even in a good spot here. Just because we haven't, even without Goddard, you'd think this was where he'd be blowing up. Just hasn't been there right now.
Hail Mary, Van Jefferson against Seattle, 28% rostered. Yuck.
Yeah, it's not great. Again, going to anyone from the Rams will never feel good, but at this point, he's the clear-cut
Who's the quarterback of the Rams again?
Hey, no. 47-40. It's Bryce Perkins is the one throwing him the rock, so not sexy at all. But 47 to 48 snaps, 28 of 29 routes, led the team by a mile with 6 targets, which again, not a ripe, fertile ground for fantasy production, but did score 29 yards, 3 catches. He's the go-to guy here. I think they're going to be chasing points. I think the Seahawks are going to just bomb them. We'll see how this game ends up flowing. But I like a good number 1 wide receiver. The other Hail Marys, just much more likely to be out there for you. DJ Chark, revenge game against the old Jacksonville Jaguars. He's seen 8, 4, 6, and 5 targets. Not monstrous, but not awful. Just scored last week against Buffalo. Could see him getting 2 against his old team. And Randall Cobb, obviously as unsexy as it comes, but 13, 10,
so
9
unsexy
points in his last 3 full games. That's wide receiver 16.
Randall Cobb was unsexy 3 years ago.
He's been unsexy for about 10 years now.
Right,
and yet he still continues to find the end zone, to convert the chains, and just gets it done. And we know Chicago, a really poor tackling secondary that's now going to be up without their safety too. I could see him getting into the end zone and having yet another 12 unsexy but gets the job done type of points.
All right. Must watch Jamar Chase coming back. Obviously, we're hoping for a shootout between the Chiefs and the Bengals in our rookie watch. Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Treylon Burks, all very interesting, all very fun to watch. And that's it.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.